Okay. All right, we're doing the clean intro. Hi, this is Roger Smith, True Blue Lounge, and today I have a guest from Jamaica, Westmoreland, Jamaica, I should say. I'm trying to do something different, so as you can see, this is a live show. I'm putting myself out there. I'm going through, trying to do things that I haven't done before, and I hope you follow me on this journey. My guest today is Dr. Duba Locke, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce the man to you. First, please subscribe to the channel because when I treat me bad. Dr. Rovan Locke, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine this evening.
All right, good. All right, speak up. Make sure. I'm just making sure everybody can hear you.
Okay.
So Dr. Locke, I interviewed a young man called Trevor Locke. Is that your brother, sir?
No, Park. No, he was my classmate at Mannings. We played soccer together.
Okay.
He's my cousin. We
Oh,
live in school and I live in Savalama. But we
all-
lived in school for 6 years together. Six, 7 years
okay.
together. Play soccer. Play under.
Dr. Locke, can you move closer to the phone so I can hear you?
You see me now?
Yeah, but move your head a little bit down, a little further down, or tilt the phone up. Tilt the phone up so all of you is in. I want to make sure that your audio is good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dr. Locke, tell us
Duba, they call me.
Duba.
Like, most people don't know me as Duba.
What can I call you? Just Duba? Duba, all right with you?
Duba or Rovan, Doc.
All right. Good.
And Elder. Later when they come, you can call me Elder. Because I'm
All right.
78 now.
All right, Elder. All right. So when did you graduate, Mannings?
1966, June 6, 1966.
Wow. That's beautiful. Long time that. So tell me something. What was the racial mix of Mannings like when you went there?
It was half and half. It was about 600 students, about 285 boys, and the rest were girls.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to. So my format is a little bit to get to know you. So
Okay.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask some questions that will loosen you up a little bit, make you feel
Yes, I'm
good.
relaxed. Don't worry.
All right. Are you relaxed? Okay. Good. So let's get the niceties out the way. So let me ask you: Are you a religious man, sir?
Well, not really. I go to church, Anglican church, some of them are.
But you're not religious.
Well, no, I go to church. I believe in God and the birth and death and so on.
When you die, what do you think happens to you?
I'm going to go to heaven
Go do what?
and drink milk and honey.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Hey, this is gonna be funny. You're gonna go here. Do you want to be cremated or buried?
No, buried.
And why is that, sir?
Because that's what that's what I've seen my parents and most of my friends. It's a new trend now with burning the body. And I don't believe in that. Because last week I was at a church and I saw somebody, they buried a person. And I asked myself, now, when they bury the body now, how God gonna talk to that person when a day comes? That's what my mind was thinking.
So Duba, you really believe that there's gonna be a day that God will come and talk to you personal?
Well,
Come down a little bit, Dr. Locke. Come down a little bit so we can see you. Yeah.
I've been going through the same thought of mine. I've been troubled about that idea for a long time. Okay, that after all the years you're on earth, you die, and then one day you're gonna meet God. You're gonna ask him questions and Saint Peter and him, and then they decide to go to hell and heaven. Well, for the time being, let me accept that because I've been going through that acceptance for so long, all my life. And
I want to be different, and I want to be the guy that asks the questions. I want to buck the system because I believe sometimes the sheep mentality of us humans is too much. You know, we have to have the person that says, I'm not going to drink the juice that Jim Jones is giving us in Guyana, you know, and
Yes, yes,
save a
yes,
life,
yes,
you know.
yes, yes.
Okay, so I understand that you were a 400-meter runner, and what is more and more remarkable and astonishing is that you were able to go to champs and do big things as a country boy from Sovlamar. So what I'm trying to find out from you, what was it? Was it the Milo? What was it in those times that gave you the strength of character and physical prowess to go to Kingston where them people are get ready milk and all kind of good food better than we to compete?
You know, the year when I won champs, I was fortunate to have a coach, Mr. Jim Morris. He was from Montreal, and he came to coach us. And I was lucky that I trained hard, followed his instructions, and I would have been surprised that I won the race. But when I went to Kingston, I knew I was in the top three in the country. Okay, but what is surprising to me is how important that race is to me, even now. Because most people link me and my life with that race fixation.
Right.
And there were others before me and Mannings. There was Van Vaughn. He won the 400 the year before me in class one. And there was a guy named Victor Brooks who won long jump, hot step, and the vault. And my race is and the winning is what people keep on is addressing and talking about. It's just surprising how important is that race to me, the school, and the parish. I am beloved because I won a champs, but there were others before me, Brooks and Vaughan. But and when Carlman Vaughan just died a month ago in South Florida, Brooks is alive. He's an MD. And but it's really surprising. And if I use my head when I came from Africa, I could easily say, arguably say that I would be a top member in wellness administration. Maybe I would be before him. That race almost took me to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Are you
It is
serious?
so, it is so fascinating. When we go down more in the interview, I will mention how Mr. Siaga, as Prime Minister, tried to recruit me like a boss I have recruited him. Siaga had eyes on me to see me as the next person to take over from him. It's mind blowing. I'm doing a book now about my life and that interview with Mr. Siaga in Hanover. And that's my biggest mistake in life. And 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 it was all because I ran track, went to America as an athlete, then became a scholar by accident. Because when I went to university at Eastern Michigan as an undergraduate, I had a full scholarship. And then there was a riot in America in the 60s. And they needed blacks to meet the demand of the administration. And the university said they want some more blacks. And I was right there at the right time. And they accepted me. And Carl Stone had just come up from home, from UA. And I got accepted into Michigan. I graduated honors as an undergraduate. But that race put me where I never thought I would be. And even now, even young kids, their parents have told them about me as a runner and use me as a model. Said, listen, if you could do this, then you can do this too. But that race is very significant, not only for me, but for all my classmates at Manning. They respect me and love me because I won the champs. I do not believe they respect me and admire me because I achieved in the classroom.
What year was this? What year was this, champs? And what was the time that you won?
1963.
And what year? And what time? What time was? Did you do the 400 meters, or they weren't doing
Well,
times? Them
I
times.
ran 52-2 in the finals, but it was raining and they put me in lane one where all the water was coming into the lane. I was supposed to be in lane six, but they had the other boys then from the town schools in the best lanes.
So what time was this? Sorry,
What the time for what? For the race or the time of
for
the
the race. For
year?
the race. Sorry.
The race was in 1963.
No, no, no. What time did you do? What time was the 400 meter time? Was it 50
52-2.
seconds?
52-2.
52-2. Okay.
Because it was raining, but I ran 51-5 in the
Oh.
semis.
Uh huh.
And I was getting ready to go for the time, to break the record of
Nice.
2.7 about the UA. Errol UA thing at the class 2 time. But then rain fell all day that day. I never forget that day. So I decided I'm going to catch everybody before the corner, before I come on the home stretch. And I sprint the entire race. Mm. And even now, the boys that I beat in Kingston, when I go to champ, they just they really behave towards me. I believe that I was the only person that won a race that a Christian College person had won. Christian College won all the races in all classes beside my race.
Wow.
So when I go to Kingston now, my age group remember me. And last year I was honored by champs. Isa, that's why I see this book out there. They honored me last year. To my surprise, they honored me. The
That's
Sports
good.
Association and High School Sports Association honored me. Hmm?
No,
Give me a big function of champs.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But guess
So,
what though? But guess what? It was at the class 2 quarter mile that got me abroad. I ran half mile when I went class 1.
wow.
And in 1966, I had a white American coach,
Uh huh.
Mr. Bob Lake. He was a Peace Corps officer in Savlamar.
Okay.
And one day I got a message from him that he wanted to see me. He was teaching at another school about a half mile away. And when I went and saw him, he said to me, "Oh, I saw you on the field running after the ball. I want to coach you. I was a top athlete in Michigan State."
Uh huh.
I said, "I won the quarter mile 2 weeks ago." He said, "Well, okay." And he coached me and he promised me that if I come in the first 3 at champs in the class 1/2 mile, I will get to go abroad on a trust scholarship.
Right.
And the coach, he did that.
Uh
He had a friend who was coaching at the undergraduate school. When I left high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then at the end of August, nothing going on, left high school, not working. And then one day my mother said and called me around a friend's house and said a mail came for me. When I went and got the mail, it was the form that said, "Rovan Locke, you must be in America." And the 7th of the next month, full scholarship. Went to the embassy with my uncle, got my visa, and went away to Eastern Michigan University. That's about 9 miles from the University of Michigan. And after 4 years, I found the classroom work very easy because I was a good student at Mannings, good in history. and biology, and the work was easy. So I got almost all A's. I graduated with honors. And then getting ready to come home to Jamaica now, I went to a party and saw Carl Stone. First time I met him, he said that he just came up with the head of the department in the University of Michigan. I said, this can't be right. I'm right here, getting ready to go home, and they bring this guy up. So the Monday morning, I went up to campus, to the new campus, asked him to see the head of the department. His name was Donald Stokes. He said, "Yo, man, why you at my office all morning?" I said, "I met a fellow from my country, and he told me you brought him up." He said, "Yes, oh yes, called Stone." I said, "Yes." He said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "I want to go to grad school." He said, "Okay, go across to the administration office and tell them that I sent you." And that's why I got accepted. I had no intention of going to do postgraduate work, to do graduate work. I was coming home. Yeah, and I spent 7 years at the University of Michigan, and I enjoyed it. I taught in the African American Studies department my first year in graduate school, and I taught about the Black American experience. In fact, I am, I would say, expert in the Black American experience from slavery until now.
Let me stop you, Dr. Locke. Let me stop you quickly. Sorry, my mic was bad. So I want to take you back. I'm going to go back to why you were able to talk about the Black American experience. But so let me ask you this: when you graduated from Mannings as a track star, what was going on in your mind? And tell me, because remember, what I want is I want people that live in Savannah know about Mannings, knowing your athletic career. I want to know what's going on in your mind. Graduation have come up. You're taking your exams and all them thing there. Where is your mind at that time, and what are you
There's
thinking
that
about?
man who got to go to Canada. My brother was there, right? My bigger brother was there. Or to go to Frome and work as what they call a bench pyramid. Frome Estate used to hire the top athletes for Mannings and give them jobs when they finish school. So I said to myself, if I didn't get to go abroad to Canada, I was going to go to work at Frome Estate. And that's what I was. That was my only plan. My mother had a bar, but I had no intention to become a bar owner. I was going to work at Frome and play ball. I run track for Frome and play soccer for Frome. Because I played the Casa Cup at Mannings for 5 years. Me and Anton Tomlinson and Anton Phil. And then after Anton
Sorry. You mentioned a man, Anton Tomlinson. Say that name
yeah,
again, because guess what?
Anton Tomlinson.
Was
He
it
was
was he a good
my big
sportsman,
brother.
by the way? Was he a good
Yeah,
athlete?
he was okay. I make him great.
You made him
I can
great.
pass the ball to him to take the
Okay.
score.
So he
But
was a
Anton was
good
good.
he was a good sportsman.
He was a good baller. Inside
So
right.
he's
He was
not
a
just
good inside
talking.
right. Eh?
He's not just talking. He really good for true.
No, he was good. We had 63. 82. When I was the youngest on the team because they just passed a law that if you over a certain age you couldn't play, and two of the players them and the defense had to stop playing for Mannings, and I got drafted by Mr. I think it was Mr. Jackson, and I play right back and can play inside right, and that was a very good team. In fact, at least half of us are alive. Me, Anton, and a few others. Then after Anton left now, Pike Lock, that other team with me and Pike Lock and Brooks and Levy, we I believe the team after Anton is the best team ever that ever played for Mannings. So sports was at that time at Mannings and in Jamaica, Coward College and Monroe and Manning, they were the three top schools playing soccer. But Manning never could beat Coward College. So Coward used to beat us. But from Anton time until my time, that started to change. Because Manning used to get all 7 love before Anton time. 6 and 7. They come and do 7 of Manning. And the whole town embarrassed. And so by the time of Anton and Ansel Phil and Bunny Mary and his brother Mikey Mary, Bunny was the captain. And I think what Hoop Turner was in goal. And I was right back. We started to take the sport of soccer very seriously because it's a matter of pride. Pride for the school and pride for the town and pride for the parish. We don't want to let Coward give us no 7 love again.
So how were you able to do this with just source of pride? With no,
Well,
did you have coaching?
we have Mr. Jackson, where that guy taught English, Howard Jackson. Went to UWI, we went to Mannings, then he went to UWI, came back, taught English, because he taught me English too. And he used to use his income, his little salary, and take care of the basic needs of the team. And then he used to go into the town and get people to give us the, all the equipment that we need. But Mr. Howard Jackson, my life is linked to Howard Jackson and Mr. Morris and Mr. Lake. But Coach Jackson taught me English. He taught me how to write, and he was a very good English teacher. Breezy, they called him Breezy because he was so small. And it is said that one day he was coming to school, and there was a breeze blowing, and the breeze make him fall upon the ground, pick him down. So they called him Breezy Jackson. And then he came back later on, about 40 years afterwards, and became headmaster. He was the coach that coached the girls' team to that won the girls' team 3 times. So let's talk about me. I want to know about me. You ever know about Anton and that team in soccer? And you have to know about Mr. Jackson is a name that everybody in my time knew and respected because he had that thing going for the girls' team. You see a girl walking at break time, and he just said to that girl, "Hey, this evening we can't go home early. You're gonna come and practice to do track." And he built the track team just by that that kind of attitude. In terms of us now, that Jackson, he was the first coach in Mannings that insisted that we practice every day in the summer from school over in June. We don't stop. We don't practice until the first match at the end of August. Jackie have practice 2 times a day, and also to our parents. I wasn't that poor. Our parents came in and bought us our boots and our shorts, and we get our socks from the school. So Howard Jackson is to me is a great man. I owe most of my achievement in life to him because I remember I got I got that held back. I just decided that well, I'm gonna spend an extra year in Mannings. I want to go to Alabama. I want to leave Mannings after I won champs to go to Herbert Kenley wanted me up in Kingston at his school in Calabar. But my headmaster, Aaron Nicholson, he refused to give me to sign the documents for me to leave, for my transfer. So I stayed that extra year. And Mr. Jackson, he saw something that I didn't see in myself. When I was in his English class, English literature class, he used to tell me, he used to call me Locke. He said, Locke, pay attention. And he used to make sure that I do did his homework. And I never Forget it. When we took GCE, before we took the exam, he told me, Locke, you know something? You are the best in the class. Now, that really, really blew my mind. Because I was a history major. I love history. I said, Mr. Jackson, I can't coach. I said, coach, he said, no, Duba. No, 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 don't joke with this thing. Forget about the track thing in your head. We talk about going to university. I said, no, Mr. Jackson, I want to this school. And after the exam in literature, as soon as we came out of the exam room, he came to me. Everybody else was coming out the classroom, and he told me questions that came on the exam paper. You know, we went over all of those questions to the term. He said, if anybody is going to pass English literature, you are the one I expect. And he was correct. I got distinction in English literature. And it started to give me a new perspective of who I could be. But at the same time, I knew if I didn't go abroad, I was going to work at Froome. And I would have probably stayed as Froome. I retired from Froome Estate and still living in Savile. So I got a break to go abroad and a trust scholarship.
So tell me something. So talk about graduation day at Mannings and all your decision making to where you are. I want to know about career and I want to know about academics.
Let me say this to you. We never had those things in mind. The last day of school, we were planning the party. We used to have a party every year when we graduate. It's Saturday night. I never had nothing in my mind but to go get dressed up for the party in the old building. I never had anything about choosing a life path. I just knew, finish school, want to go to Montreal. My brother was there. And if I didn't go to Montreal to just go and work, I was going to go and work at Food Estate. There was a fellow named Aston Spence. He was a man's old boy, but he was an older man. But he was really our big brother. Regardless of what sport you were in, every every day in the evening, Aston Spence was at school and he was working at school. And he was the one who would recruit the athletes, soccer players, to come and work at school. I'm in a human person relation office and play whatever sport you could play for Froome. Because Froome had this thing, Sugar Estate edition. And Froome said was the best in the country. So I knew I was going to play, I was going to run track for Froome and play soccer. That I knew. That was the only thing on my mind. My last day in school. God, my last day of school. It was, we all call it our last day of school. And we sat down, I never forget it. We sat down after the bell rung and we said bye to everybody and sense of sadness, for a little while. And then it was start to plan to look a job. So I was waiting to go to Montreal. No. And then at that time too, not too many of my classmates, even in upper six, those who went to upper six, I didn't go to upper six. They didn't go to UWI, because it was then a bit expensive. They were going away to Toronto or go to Kingston and work for the government. I work for Froome too, at the Price Council.
Dr. Locke, may I have a
Yes.
quick question? What was Jamaica like economically, and who was the prime minister? What was going on in Jamaica at the time?
Okay, good. Yes, I was involved at the time too, as a student Mannings. Buster Manti and the JLP, Jamaica Labour Party, was Buster was the prime minister. The JLP had won the 1961 election. I think it was April 10th, and defeated Norman Manley, and then ushered in independence. At that time, Jamaica was fairly stable and wealthy because of sugar. The sugar was king in the Caribbean, and sugar was king in Jamaica. But also at the same time, there was the aluminum industry start to emerge. There was the Curvine and Alpha, and they were mining bauxite in Mandeville and the rest of the parts of Manchester. So you have King Sugar, and you have the country was developing. It was stable, and so you have a job, either at Fruit or in Mandeville. And it was a nice place to be. That is why I've been surprised when the left became so extreme. Michael Manley and Trevor Monroe in 1974, 76. It was a dramatic change from what Jamaica was. It was also a rigid class and caste and race stratified society. Everybody knew their place. In fact, let me shock you, and it's painful at a point. I have never lived in any other place in the world as racist and class stratified as Sablomar, Westmoreland, and the rest of Jamaica. Even to this day, Jamaicans, I believe, when they say Barbados is the most elitist society in the Caribbean. But what is mind blowing is that poor Jamaicans have some ugly, vulgar, racial and class attitude and caste stratified attitude. It's hard to believe. Now I'm talking about 2025. Nothing has really changed in Jamaica. And what is so interesting, I have lived in America more than half of my life. I lived in South Florida for 18 years. I just came back 6 years ago, 8 years ago. Even in the diaspora, Jamaicans, we should have the lights. If you white, you are right. If you light, stay around. If you black, stay back. From my own experience, a lot of my classmates or schoolmates have a hard time accepting the fact that, Lord God Almighty, Duba have a PhD. Duba is Dr. Locke. One of the most disappointing aspects of my life is that I have never come across a group of people as class conscious and racially conscious as we are. And I live in America for more than 45 years. I grew up in a racist society. Trump to me is no accident. Trump is an inevitability. If you look at the history of America, Trump is no accident. You know, tomorrow is the Prime Minister PJ birthday. PJ is the first black Prime Minister for Jamaica. And he ruled the longest, 14 years.
Dr. Locke,
Yes.
part of my style is to just stop you right there and say, so PJ was a Westmoreland, yes?
Well, yes, Hanover and Westmoreland.
Okay, and them and they have the party for 18 and a half and 4 more years. What makes Savlamar Hospital look the way it is and the roads in Savlamar in Westmoreland are so bad?
No. I can deal with that. I'm going to come to that.
Nice, I'm glad.
Because one thing that I fear is to get sick and to go to Salma or any hospital in Jamaica. It has nothing to do with PP or the JLP. Let me say this to you. We have been, and I'm a political scientist now, not Duba. We have been unfair to those who have led us in the past and even now. We don't have the financial base to carry out the infrastructure needs of the society. And bear in mind, King Sugar through Britain, States and Life, ran Jamaica. The bauxite company was based in Mandeville and in Clarendon. And like the rest of the third world in Africa, the raw resources, they took it, they extracted, and they mined it elsewhere. So, and then take the brown sugar. Take sugar, for example. My father worked on the waterfront when I was a kid. He worked on the boat to take the sugar from the wharf to the ship a mile away. Kate and Light took the sugar, and there was a link between slavery and now. PJ, Michael, Shira, Sangster, Siaga. Population increase. And they don't have the funds to do the education, secondary and primary school and early education and plus the hospital, health center, and we don't have the funds. And we borrow money. More than half of our revenue that we earn is used to pay back our debt, international debt. So we get confused about why Jamaica have the money. No, we don't have the money. I'm talking to you now as a Jamaican who lived there for the past 8 years. And I've analyzed the society. We do not have the money. And we cannot see Jamaica through European or American eyes. We are a third world country. I live in Africa for 3 years, in Nigeria. I studied in Eastern Africa. I was one of the few Jamaicans as a student that traveled and studied in Africa. Nigeria with oil. And it's unbelievable and scary if you see the hospitals in Africa with the population growth. And for example, take Jamaica. We are one of the top countries for foreign exchange flight. There's a large group of Jamaicans that study abroad. The parents send them up to school, even high school and college abroad. We have Jamaicans working in the government service and their kids abroad. We have, and then you see the lifestyle that they live. You come to Jamaica and you go to Beverly Hills, Cherry Garden, White House where Anton, my friend, live, and Victor Lowe live. You'll be shocked at the houses that they live in. You think that you're somewhere else. There's a group of diaspora Jamaicans who are now returning home up in White House. And Anton could tell you, I have a very close friend, Victor Lowe. My closest friend in life. Knew from a child, 3 boy, the boy have money. And it's clean money and he live well. Have a nice house. He said Anton in White House. But then you earn the money outside the country. Anton couldn't come back and have a retirement home in White House unless he and his wife live in New York. They take the tourist industry. Edmund Bartlett, who I know very well, is the Minister of Tourism. And tourism is an entity that creates a lot of employment, but low employment. And more the wealth of the hot tourist industry stays abroad. When you book to come to Jamaica, and when if you book and pay for your all inclusive, all that money don't come, no money don't come to Jamaica. That money stay abroad. And then the hotel owners are demanding so many incentives for them to invest. We don't have the financial capacity to, to do the things that we want to do. And, and let me give you an example. The health situation is scary. But America and Britain and other European countries are coming for our nurses and our MDs because we can pay them the salary that they deserve. You can ask a person after 7 years to stay in Jamaica and make 100,000 US dollars when he could make 300,000 US dollars in America's hospital. A gynecologist in obstetrician in America. I was married to one of them. They offer her $200,000. My ex-wife, my last wife, she was a medical doctor in Jackson Hospital. She had a medical contract for 225,000 US dollars with weekends off. Jamaican medical doctors and personnel. They work long hours. It's just now they put in a work fixation thing where you only work 5 hours a week. Anything after 5 hours, you can get overtime. And it's just like with the University of West Indies. The salary that we pay the university professors, we don't have the money to pay them. And they're not bringing in the kind of money that they're supposed to get based on their rank. So you're
Doctor,
asking the government to pay
Doctor,
them.
Doctor Locke, let me kind of rein you into a conversation that's near and dear to me, so
Yes.
that you can sort of put things into perspective for me. So I went to school I went to Mannings in 1977. I went to Unity 75, 76. What can you tell me about the mistakes Michael Manley made and the good things that he done in that time? And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to put an orange shirt or a green shirt on you. I want you to be objective as a human and tell me
Yes.
what was it that Manley done good and what was his mistakes round about that 1977, 78 when people used to buy and goods were married and things like that, and it was rough. Tell me about that time there and your thoughts.
Okay. I studied that era and I was in college that in university. I know Michael very well. My classmate at Michigan, Dr. Paul Robertson, the general secretary of the party. I know Dr. Duncan when I came out from Africa. I know Beverly Manley. I witnessed the evolution of the changing faces of Jamaica. Michael Manley, at one level, was the greatest leader that Jamaica has seen compared to the man across the bottom, the Castro. But Michael came at a time when there was a need for Michael Manley in Jamaica. Like I said earlier on about the class certification in Jamaica and racial certification. One of the main problems with Mr. Manley, Michael Manley, he and the people who were going left were anglicidal leftists. They studied in England. They don't understand the monster called America. And they were too, and Jamaica is too close to America. And Michael Manning was very, very lucky that when he went left, that Jimmy Carter was the president, not Ronald Reagan or Nixon, Richard Nixon. We have to understand that in the context of why he was successful. I see him as a heroic failure. He was an heroic failure. And he had to fail because then you can go left and confront America and you don't have the financial base to carry out your left program. Even with free education. Jamaicans, he gave us free education. But it was a good decision on his part. But financially, it was a terrible decision. And it led to the feud and the rift between him and the David Poor. Now, America never overreacted to Michael Manley. And Michael was not a person who understood how the Oval Office and the State Department work or operate. And then Michael was pushed to go that far by Duncan, Beverly Manley, Trevor Monroe, and what I call the Young Turks. Those who born in middle class homes start to smoke the ganja and listen to Bob Marley and reggae music and want what I mean called class suicide. They were engaging in finding themselves, a new class, a new personality. They grew up in the hills, Beverly Hills, Cherry Garden, middle class, upper class homes. Went to Jamaica College, Georges, go to St. Hilda's, St. Hughes, and because of the Black American experience, they say loud and black and I'm proud, and then Bob Marley. Yes, my friend, my good friend, they set me free again. Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and the reggae music. Even 72, when they won the election, PJ Posey was in charge of the campaign for Michael Manley. The slogan was better must come. And they used that song, better must come. But they didn't have the financial basis for that. And then at the same time, they were pushing a transformation of Jamaica. What Michael became an enemy to his own class that he came from, because the people who were part of the people at the party, they were the most elitist and class stratified in our society. Then and now. So Michael was cutting at them. Michael cut too close to them and they ran away. It's so interesting to see.
So, answer me this. I know even now that the PNP are, the lawyers and the people supposedly with the brains. So why is it that for some reason there's this narrative that they're for poor people? What is that about when it was Edward Seaga that went to Bacawal and lived with the real suffering black people, even though he was a white American, gave up his citizenship to live like a Jamaican? Talk to me, sir.
Yeah. What Michael did was that he broke from his class. His father was the most elitist person in society, him and his wife. Norman was the man, a good lawyer, maybe the best that we have seen. But Norman Manley had some vulgar, elitist attitudes. So when Michael broke away from his class and took a lot of people from UWI with him. He even married black after Siaga had married black long ago with Mr. Constantine. They had a good public relation team. And one of the reasons why the people, National Michael Party, People's Party, have been seen in that context is because GLP were too close to the big men, the capitalistic class, Ashanai and those people. And then we are just got independence. So Jamaica was a colonial entity. And it was a colonial entity with everything up in Kingston. And so when he broke away, the middle class, the kids of the upper middle class went with Michael. And UWI has always been, then and now, been a part of that party, PNP. Because since Norman Manley's time, they pushed that trick as far as the narrative that Buster could not read nor write. And let me even shock you. Norman Manley, uncomfortable as it can be, because I respect him, I admire him, he was the one that entrenched the class and racial division in Jamaica. Because we still say it in Jamaica, even in Central Westmoreland, which is a stronger base, one of the strongest constituencies until the last election for the party. They have a saying in Jamaica, if you belong to the JLP, you're a dirty nigger. Dirty nigger. It's still a part of our lifestyle and attitude that if you belong to the JLP, right, you as the masses, you're not upper class, you don't have the right traits for the society. So what you have is an enigma in an enigma. You have the PNP going left. At the same time, the base is entrenched middle class. And that is why Portia Simpson and it's a problem to them because they were still shocked. They're still shocked. They're slowly overcoming it. That Portia, a poor black girl, became the leader and the prime minister of Jamaica. And she got there because a certain prime minister decided that, well, he wanted her to be the successor to him. So this society, the next election is coming up in the next 6 months or so. And it is so interesting that both Mark Golding and Andrew Holness share the same ideology now. Capitalism is the order of the day. But Mark Golding is still trying once in a while to become again the Michael man of Jamaica. He'll get himself into, he feels that well he had to do that to get the voters. And the Jamaicans who are going to vote for Mark Golding, they expect him to go left like Michael Manley and he will get in trouble. Because Donald Trump is not going to allow no leftist regime in Jamaica.
But isn't Marky G more of a Tapanaris type
Mm.
conservative capitalist? How is he gonna walk with the little butter pan and resonate with the real people. Remember to buy them chicken back and flour like in
No,
the
no, no,
80s?
no, no, no. He gonna talk the rhetoric at the left. And at the same time, what is ironic, Mark Golden is like Shirley Ramaphosa in South Africa. Peter Bunting is like Shirley Ramaphosa in South Africa. It is so ironic that Mark Golden is one of the richest men in Jamaica, leading a party which said they're the leftists. That's a super case of irony. But Jamaican, the average member of the party, they are going to vote fight because of what Michael Manley had done. There is institutional memory of Michael Manley PMP. So, and they don't like, Jamaicans don't like when the JLP is at Jamaica House because they don't think that the right personality, the elite, the right elite, they don't see Andrew Holness as the right person for the part, for the government, for the Jamaican society, because he's not an intellectual. Jamaicans are caught up with this intellectual mystique. And also too, we don't want to say, but Jamaicans, even the average black man out there, they have this idea that a white man or a high-skinned yellow man took the layers. That's why I was saying from earlier, I stopped me. The policy is the least loved prime minister in the history of Jamaica because he's black and he comes from country. Although he was well educated, learned of economics, as a lawyer, went to UWI, English graduate, because of his skin color, the even us as journalists won't allow him, won't give him the breaks that we give Michael Manley. Or even to
Being objective. I'm going back to the 18 and a half and 4 more years. He had the country for a long time. Westmoreland was his garrison, and I'm being Roger here. This is my style, Dr. Locke. So work with me here. I feel me style this. The man have the place for 18 and a half years. Westmoreland a theme garrison. What make the road them so bad, the infrastructure so bad, and the hospital so bad? What did he do?
well, let me full disclosure, I work as one of PJ closest advisor from 94 until 98. The roads are not PJ's creation. So erase that from your memory. Because if now, with the money that Andrew going to spend on the road, the problem is this: we're a country that have a rain season, and we build our road with mall, and we put a little asphalt on it. When the rain come, May come in, and then you have August and September and October. When the rain come on, and Grangeville and Westmoreland, you were here in some of them, you know when the rain come, hard. No, so the road is not the problem. No, the hospital again. You're going back to that. You know, for example, the indigenous emerging black Echo Clark carry PJ wide. First time black man get a chance to hold power and hold money, they rob themselves and put the country in serious financial strain. Remember what happened to Jamaica and him, PJ?
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
bankers, the black bankers, and Paul Chen Young took the black people deposit the money for their own. And I told Paul Chen Young, I was one of his advisors. After Paul Chen Young, you can't take poor people money and buy hotel, buy Holiday Inn. And at a conference in South Florida, in Miami, he tried to embarrass me. He said, Dr. Locke, you're not a banker. 5 years afterwards, I summoned the function. He said, Doc Rovan, I have to apologize to you. Paul Chen Young took the people's money, deposited money, and do his own business. So you have don't blame PJ. Blame the people who got the opportunity to financially empower the, the, themselves and the people around them, and they only enrich themselves. Crawford.
So are you saying to me that the 18 and a half years and the 4 more that the PMP had power and Westmoreland being their garrison, they couldn't do any better than they did? Is that what you're saying to me?
That's what I'm saying. Let me give you an example. I remember when the Prime Minister then, PJ, announced that he's going to give water. He's going to take water from he's going to take water up to his constituency, up in Darlington. And the Jamaican press attack him. How he going to spend money, $2 billion to bring water from up to Darlington? And he called for a press conference in Mobay. I was at the press conference, and PJ came with all the charts to justify his behavior to give water from in his constituency. And after he showed the map and explaining, nobody asked no question. He said to me, Dr. Locke, how come you not asking any question? And the next fellow, baby, said, Mr. Prime Minister, you are doing something good. What should we attack you for that? And PJ said to us, he said, I'm going to hold you all in confidence. He said, when Michael Manley was the Prime Minister, he, as a member of Parliament, could not tell Michael, say, he want to put water up a Darlington. That's what PJ told us that. So you must broaden your lens when you try to deal with Westmoreland. Listen to me. It's a big country. That may shock you, because I agree with you. You know what the man blowing for me as a Jamaican? It's how so many places don't have the water. It blows my mind that there's so many places in Jamaica that people still have to get a mind time if you catch water. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me is that I born in the Westmoreland. One of the most frightening experience for me is going to Nigeria and there's no water on campus. When I was at UWI, I taught there for 1 year, and the water cut off. And I was, man, I almost blew my mind. Light and water we have in central Westmoreland, and we have water in most places in Westmoreland. One of my biggest shocks in my life, going to be my ancestor, is that Jamaica is the land of wood and water. And even in the northeast, Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew, people don't know water. They just started working on getting water in St. Catherine. They're going to use the place name to hook up and see water to Kingston. The road.
So was the PJ time, and help me understand. So I don't know. I'm asking you because you
Yeah.
know. So was the PJ time so rough that paying bills was all that the money, the taxation, and everything that went on? Why there was not more money spent on infrastructure and
Half
and
of
and healthcare?
property taxes, half of the property taxes go to Kingston to add for the supplementary budget. Jamaica does not create enough revenue to take care of the infrastructure needs. to hospitals, health centers, and even schools. So we must understand that this is a
Okay.
third world country.
So let me ask you this then. When you look at the trajectory of Jamaica today, are you happy with what you're seeing?
No, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Get away with that question. You know, if the car centers hadn't come to Jamaica and the tourist industry wasn't here, there would be a whole lot of unemployment and a whole lot of uprising and more crime. Listen to me. Take the hotel industry. They're paying the workers, the hotel owners, them
Dr. Locke,
2 years.
move in front of the camera a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go, there you go.
the hotel owners are paying the workers them $2, $2 an hour, three Jamaican dollars an hour. Okay, it's a crime, but they, but it is not anything. That is a criminal action by the people who are making so much money out of the tourist industry, right? And they're not saying that well. At the end of each tourist season, the hotel owners should give at least 5% of their net profit to the workers. And then they have the workers demand contract, every 3 month contract. After 3 months, they lay them off for 2 weeks and then they call them back. So they don't get nothing, no pension and nothing. Right? The call center too. The call center is a life saving is a life saving decision. And the employers, because I tell you something, there are at least 70,000 young people working 24/7 in those call centers. And with AI coming in now, and it said that AI may lay off a lot of the people at the call center, maybe to also into this industry. If AI does that, then there's gonna be some serious problem in Jamaica. Let me tell you one problem, right, with the Jamaican political elite. They go to university and they don't look at what happened around them abroad. And those who study at UWI, it's a waste of time. They can't, nobody go to UWI. And most of our prime ministers in the Caribbean, except Mr. Siaga, study at UWI. How come we are so close to North America and we don't have a car industrial plant, our car part industry in Jamaica? Nobody has put us forward. 62 years of independence. You know why? Because most of the people in the cabinet studied at UWI or in England. Right? Now, Mr. Siaga studied in America, but he, when he got there, he had so much things to do to bring back the country. And the money that he got, there was not even enough because man had the people, the flight and the money, flight the capital, backed up Jamaica. And they still the flight of capital even now in Jamaica to New York and Toronto and so on. So it is frightening because it is hard to be a member in the government, in parliament and so on, because you don't have the resources to meet the expectation of the voters. They're asking you for so much, and you don't have, all you have is just you can make it as an income, as a salary, and then the government will say what they're going to do in the constituency. But the money don't come to you. It comes through the National Works Authority, National Water Commission, right, Ministry of Health, and so on. And the nurses and doctors, they're underpaid. And we need more nurses and doctors, but we don't have the money to pay them if they graduate and we have enough surplus. We may have to do what Castro is doing. Start to train nurses and doctors to export them and get a part of their salary. Because this way, if AI negatively impact the BPO slash call centers, there could be a lot of youth unemployment. The call center and the tourist industry have saved Jamaica from a frightening economic underdevelopment and starvation. The guy who lives below me here, he makes $20,000 a week. He works at the hotel in and over. He brings home $20,000 a week. He's renting $75,000 a month in the condominium complex where we live. So, and the hotels refuse to pay more. And they're bringing more hotels into the country. And nobody is raising the issue. Why we don't let the hotel owners pay more to the workers? So we don't have the financial base. What is going to happen to America when it's tariff with Trump? It's the same thing will happen in Jamaica. If the car centers are closed down and AI takes away a 1/3 of the jobs which are not available. The hotel industry, there's a lot of anger by the young people. And what is ironic, and you need to know this, in this election, what going to save Andrew Holness and allow him to go back? Because most of the hotel workers don't have no card to vote. They're not going to vote. They don't register to vote. So Mark Gold is not going to get the vote. But they're angry at Andrew Holness and Bartlett that they allow the hotel owners to pay them their low salary.
Tell me something, Dr. Locke. Do you wear a green or an orange shirt? You know, when I listen to you, you know, you sound like a little bit labor-rightish, but
I'm
you,
liberal. I'm
but but
liberal by birth. But
but
I'm a
but
culture analyst. I'm liberal by birth, but I work for the PNP for two prime ministers, Mr. Ponsu
wow.
and Miss P. Pusher, I was part of a campaign.
So
Pusher City
so
campaign.
so I need to draw from you with your wealth of knowledge here. So when you see the trajectory of the company now, Mr. Clark gone to in big job in the IMF and all them thing there, and you see the fiscal space that's been spoken about and the houses built for the 1 and 2 older people and people get jackass when they ask for it on the TV and all them something there. How do you feel? Are you hopeful? Do you think, hey, I like what Andrew's doing? Or do you think Master Mark, who we don't know if nobody know what primary school he got to because everybody sure say England he born.
No,
You
he
know,
born in Jamaica and he went to campaign. And then
he
he
went,
went
he went
to
to a
high
primary
school.
school.
Champion. He went to
Campion.
the champion for about a year.
Our
But he went
primary
to high
school he go.
school.
Our primary school he go.
No, he didn't go to primary school here. He didn't go to primary school
He
here.
was
But listen
homeschooled,
up.
was he?
No, but listen up. But give Mark credit. Listen up. Mark was never, and he will tell you, he was never interested in this high office. Let me tell you what happened. Portia to Peter Bunting, who was general secretary of the party, recruited Mark Golan to be Minister of Justice. And and he worked with Portia. He was the treasurer of the party. The seat that the Minister of Finance, Omar Davis, had, Peter Bunting was to come up to take that seat. Peter Bunting was to leave from one to Esther to take that seat that Mark Golan now has. It so happened that Omar Davis got sick and they gave the seat to Mark Golan. But even now, Mark was not interested at that level. He was holding the seat. He was holding the seat for Peter Bunting. Let me say it again. He was holding the seat for Peter Bunting. That means give you the irony, the supreme irony of Mark Golding getting ready to maybe become the Prime Minister of Jamaica. The top person in Jamaica besides Dr. Locke who pushed Africa consciousness is the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, the former leader of the PNP, former president. It was P.J. Patterson who came to pad up and run for office because there was a feud, intractable feud between Peter Bunting and Peter Phillips. And it was hurting the party. And PJ was the one who blocked Peter Phillips from becoming the head of the party when he went against the speed. Because Peter Bunting, Peter Phillips was Michael Mannings' spy in the cabinet when PJ was the deputy, was the acting prime minister. And Peter Phillips crossed PJ Patterson. And PJ took an oath that whatever blood and life we have in the party, Peter Phillips will never become Prime Minister of Jamaica. Now, I'm live, so I could say that. Few people know that. I know it. Right? So Peter Phillips and Peter Bunting, there was a clash. And Mark Golding was the financial man around Peter Bunting. And when Peter Bunting couldn't get the head of the party, couldn't win to become the head of the party, PJ Bunting tell Mark Golding, a white man, to put up and make him become the president of the PNP. And what is so ironic, PJ Patterson is a Pan-Africanist, a Gambian, having only institutes for Africa and the region, CARICOM African Institute and campus. And he was known as the young, gifted and black. Nina Simone, that's how PJ was known in the party. PJ was a black conscious one with the Afro. And he brought Mark Golding into government and to the party to Peter Bunting. Mark Golding was always the front man for Peter Bunting. It will go be interesting if Mark Golding wins. If you're going to make Peter Bunting deputy prime minister, if Peter Bunting gets a seat next election. That's it. So, and then if they push the program that they have, they're pushing for the poor. They feel that the government must take care of the poor. That is outdated. Because what you're doing, you're entrenching the poor to be poor. We need to go for, and I'm talking from being a roots man, a ghetto man, I left this in America, I left it out here. We cannot keep on pushing that it's the government's responsibility to take care of the poor. You have to build a capitalist class, and that wealth that you use to take care of the poor. You can ask the government to take care of hospital for free, health care out there is free, you know.
So
They
Dr.
can
Locke,
health care for free.
So Dr. Locke, and
Yes.
just for people that's asking, you believe in the trickle down economy. You can't pour the victims. You believe you make good business interests and investment opportunities for people that can spend money, and you think that the disenfranchised will benefit from it automatically. Okay?
No. I don't want you to stick up time in that way. No. I come from a different perspective. Because I see this, what I've seen in Jamaica is this entitlement expectation by the poor. I see where people feel as well, if with me, Dr. Locke, I go away and my responsibility come back, join government and compete
Dr.
for the
Locke, before
resources
you go
to give
on,
them.
define when you say the poor. When you say the poor, who are you talking about, and what percentage of Jamaicans constitute that? And then go on with your.
It's at least two-thirds of the society. The poor is at least two-thirds. We have a problem in Jamaica. The young men, when they go to school, they're not interested in education. They don't want to use education to move up. They're not. They feel as well they can do the scamming, well, they can do the herb that they used to do that work before. So they want to they engage in scamming. Now, the poor who don't have no formal education, don't have no, they can't read or write, or can barely read and write. But you cannot, they feel that they must stay home. And the member of parliament must go there and get the resources, the national resources from the government, economic resources, and carry home the bacon to them because they vote for the member of parliament. So my vote give me the right to tell you what me want. My one vote. And me put it there. And me put it there to take care of me. We need to change that. There must be a work incentive. Don't care how poor you are, you can't 18 year old, you can't stay all day. And then the government need to create opportunities, job opportunities. Find create factories. Bring factories into the society, so that people can work. But you can't have people get up in the morning, wash them teeth, and watch television all day, and then the boss man come Friday, the MPS send home the package. No. It is troubling what I'm saying. But at my age, it seems to me I've been conservative because I've been out there for 8 years. And I've been around a lot of the young men and women who don't have no work mentality at all. They don't have a work mentality. And that is one of the reasons why I never got into politics. Because I just didn't see myself going to university, come back, then go to Kingston. And my main function in life was to go to Kingston and go to Parliament and run a industry and make sure it's me nice up the corner. It's my job to nice up the corner because you give me a vote. So I don't tell you to go there and look at work. Me supposed to go there and bring home the bacon. Set the constitution right. I'm not meant to be eat your food. So we have to be careful of how do we go forward in Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. Because, take for example now, we don't have oil like Guyana. We don't have oil like Guyana. So what else? Sugar is dead. Bauxite is dead. So is and the AI industry, the computer industry, the highway, this transformation highway industry don't create enough jobs. And we have to be worried and start to plan what we're going to do if AI start to take away the job that is in the BPO industry, call center industry. And the people in those industry, they're only working there for a while. They don't want to stay there for 10, 15 years because of the 2 years an hour. You can't live at $2 an hour. Whoever, if I was the Prime Minister of Jamaica, if I was Mark Golden campaigning for election, I would make the hotel owner mad at me because I would say every hotel owner At the end of the year, end of the financial year, 5% of the net profit must go to the worker. And I'm going to cut out contract work in the industry. You have people working for 3 months and they'll lay them off.
Do you
So that,
believe? Do you believe? Do you believe the hotels have 5% net margin that they can actually relinquish to the workers? Do you think they make that much money?
yes, listen to me. After you build a hotel, and after 2, 3 years, I get the tax incentives. So you make a choice. I can't give a tax incentive if you're not going to give me 5% back to the workers. They get tax incentives. I don't think they're paying taxes. And then they also demand that they own the beachfront. Hey, you know something? After the first 4 or 5 years, I tell you give me back your money. And if you invest in the 5% that the workers are supposed to get, you have no problem generating the 5% every year to pay them at the end of the year. For example, let me get them. I marvel at Andrew Holness, the way he deals with me. Andrew Holness and I respect each other. But Federal Minister of Education, he used to come to South Florida where I was living. Every month he was out there as Minister of Education. And one day I was taking to his car. I said, Mr. Stuff. Every time you come to the diaspora, you come to South Florida, you're always asking us to give to Jamaica. Right? I think he rubbed me the wrong way. Plus, he heard, according to him, to Bartlett, that I switch. PJ, when I work for, I didn't switch. PJ asked me a favor. PJ drafted me into his government. God put it as well. I don't want to go to Kingston and live. I'm a Morris. I decided I'm going to live in Summerlin. So, I see in the debate, in the budget debate, both Andrew Holness and Mark Gordon talk about, and the both parties, about the bank assess tax. They want to stop that. No. If Andrew Holness had come to me, I would tell Andrew Holness what he needs to do. He needs to have a community reinvestment act. Every bank should give back 1% every year at a profit at the end of the financial year. Because most of the banks are located in the main towns, beside the ghettos. So in America, you're up in Texas, you know that CRA, every bank has to give back a certain amount to the county to do infrastructure work. You have banks out there, NCP, Nova Scotia, taking money, go to Toronto, the profit goes to Toronto. Nova Scotia making billions of dollars every year, $12 billion net profit last year, $12 billion. In the past 2 years, every year they make $12 billion net profit. Go to Canada. So you don't have people with vision. You don't have people in government. Well, the banks have also marketed the government and the opposition by they make sure they get the money during election time. They give the money so they can go there and do the thing. But they're not sitting down with the bank owners and say, listen, man, going forward, the bank is making too much money. So we have to do this thing now. Community Reinvestment Act. No, Andrew had not sat down with me in the past 8 years out here and said, Doc, what are some of the ideas you have for the society? He had not drafted me because according to him, I switched 12 years ago, 20 years ago. PJ, I work on PJ. I'm the man ever right. No. And plus two, he knows what kind of person I am. I'm very upfront. I'm very outspoken. I'm very honest. I in a sense, I see the same crisis that you see with the society, but I have a problem now with the poor. The entitlement thing is bothersome.
So, so, um, so it's really hard. So for me, I don't lean left or right because I don't. I like to feel that the Babylon system is a fraud. I don't believe there's a right or wrong way. I believe there's mixtures of things. I don't believe there's left and right. I think there's varying shades of gray.
Yes.
Looking at the shirt you have on, me see a lot of green, but me can't see no orange on it. So do
No,
you
it
lean?
is the corner.
You lean any way, or sometimes you hear Andrew
Yeah,
say
I
some
can say
things?
loud and clear. This election, I'm going to vote for George Wright, JP, about Parliament. I cannot vote for Vaz, Dwayne Vaz, the former MP of the constituency, because I was here when he was member of Parliament. He did nothing. So I'm voting for the Jamaica Labour Party in Central Westmoreland.
He done nothing, or he wasn't able to do anything, and I'm just giving him a
No,
chance.
he done nothing
Why do you think he done nothing?
because I observed him. I know we have a girlfriend, and the girlfriend lived close by me, and he was here all the time. We spoke. Up to this day, my road hasn't been fixed. I have a problem with George Wright, but give him credit. Him out there looking out for the people them in his constituency. He's available and he works hard. But and two, I have a hard time with Mark Golden as a white man. I don't think a white man should rule my country. Unapologetically, I can say it.
Were you okay with
I have a
Siaga?
hard time.
Were you okay with Siaga?
Yes, yes. And that's a good
Was he
question to ask me.
was he not
Because I think,
Caucasian, and wasn't Michael Manley Caucasian?
yes, but he was a trans class and trans race man. Siaga married a black woman. Siaga, in a sense, came with the have no speech. Siaga brought home everybody. Siaga, in a sense, down back a wall and said poor people can't live so and creativity valley. A man bird is accident. But how you work with your skin color and your attitude, Mark is just coming and go now. Like I said to you earlier, Mark was not Mark is a banker. That's where he's comfortable. He was just holding the seat in where Omar Davis was for Peter Bunting. And then Omar got sick and I had to resign from the seat and he had to go in that seat. But Mark Golden still had even until Mark Golden became the head of the party, Peter Bunting thought that when he was going to become head of the party and then take the seat from Mark Golden.
Okay.
Mark Golden didn't need to do that.
Dr. Locke,
Mark,
I want to pivot a little bit from this this line of questioning. But I'm gonna allow you. So if you were to mark the X today, you're gonna mark it beside the bell,
yeah,
and you like the trajectory of what things are happening and going on at the moment, correct?
yeah, so far.
Okay. No, that's good. What I wanted to ask you, and the reason I wanted to, and we're gonna go back a little bit. I want to, because there's people that are watching and they may be even kids, I want you to repeat or even tell us a little bit more what Manning School athletics done for you as a human being and for the trajectory in your life. And also, I would like you to touch on the fact that maybe the alumni may need to step up to help different silos to get to greatness. The D Cup team, the Costa Cup team, and athletics and other things that aren't doing so well. Go ahead, sir.
Mannings Athletics opened the gates for me in so many opportunities in life. Because I never had no idea that there was so much opportunities out there once you get abroad. I knew without athletics, I would not be the person I am today because I would have gone to Canada and took a job. If I stayed in Jamaica, I would have gone to food estate and be an ordinary worker in the chemistry department or testing the sugar. Athletics, in a sense, is a is is two sides. It comes with academics, and athletics give you the self confidence to do well in the classroom. Because once, like in my case, sports day, when I see 5 or 6 other members, like other runners in my league, and want to be in my class, never beat them on the track. If I can beat it in the track, there must be a way I can beat it in the class. And so athletics, in a sense, get you ready, give you this sense of confidence, and give you a reason to be at school. It also gives an opportunity as a high school student to meet other athletes from other schools, boys and girls. It, in my case, I came from downtown Savannah. I was in the ghetto. I was right then going down the street.
Hey,
But
can you tell us exactly down to the lamppost that you lived at? Which part of Savlamar you come from?
we passed back in Nova Scotia. When you pass back in Nova Scotia and go down the street, the next corner is where I live. Green Street. And when you pass that's all and go straight down is the market. And anywhere in the world you are, the closer you way to the market is the lower your status in society. Anywhere in the world, if you're close to the market as a scientist, if you're close to the market,
I never knew that. Never knew that.
if you're close to the market, your social status drop. And everybody student who gonna watch this video, they're not gonna admit it, but they know I'm talking the truth. Then I know they have a hard time with me being a star at the school because I'm from
So how did
the
you
South.
how do
I'm
you
from the South. Huh?
how did you manage being the black kid from Savlamar with the social standing equal to living close to the market, but being the star? What was it like being that kid? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Poor,
I was
but
thinking,
rich.
yeah, I enjoyed it. Pampered. I was pampered because when we had houses, Clark Sigrid, I was the Clark house in high school. Clark Sigrid because right? And so on. So we have our house meetings and then when you have sports day, and our older generation of students, we are tighter than the newer graduates of school because we have our houses. We have also had where the rope, you pull the rope, we call it again, people, girls and boys, and your houses, when you have sports day, when you,
Tug of war. I think we call it.
tag and walk. When you have sports day and you have tag and war, you get a cake people win. if you relate, you get a cake. I said, have team. You have to come together. Not only as at Mannings, but because you're in a certain house, and then you come again to because what class you're in, class one, class two, class three, class four. Then you have the girls on the other side, right? And they cheering. Come on, crack out, come on, crack out. Not come on, Duba. Come on, crack out, come on, crack out. So we build that. There's a mindset. And people will also, you cannot touch me because we're going to class house. Me and next one kind of war at school. Because if me have some problem, the members of my host go defend me. And then we know that money was the beginning of a start of a different life. Once you had Mannings, you are breaking away from the old habits, even from the upper middle class homes at Froome, because Froome compound, there's a whole lot of students coming from Froome Estate. And they had some terrible habits because they're working, their parents work as administrators for the white man in England. And they get houses and they compound. They speak English all the time. Some of them can't, to this day, can't speak a language, can't speak our language, can't speak patois. Dr. Harrison, I know friends that I have from Mannings days that live on the Froome compound. In fact, my friend, Pike has some bad habits. Came from Froome compound. But me pay and they team together. The cast come so become friends. So we throw away that habit. Because we there every day in the summer and practice. No. So I wasn't poor. My father had a bar. When he died, when I was in first in high school, then my mother took it over. So I got 3 meals a day. I have a bicycle. I got three at a clothes to go to school. I never shoes and socks. No. In our time, to go to school and ride a bicycle, hey, you're moving on up. You have to wait for no bus, so you reach school on time. I should ring the bell. My last day in school, I controlled Mannings. I rung the bell for all the classes. I rung the bell. I was school early in the morning. I was deputy head boy. And one of my jobs was to make sure that classes, trials and classes start at end on time. And so, and my classmates, they never saw me as being from the outdoor during certain times of the year, soccer and track and field, because me is the star boy. I when a good team was me alone. Well, in the chambers, Andrew Brown, Big McCulloch, Claire McCulloch. We have Wallace. So we had a group, we had a track team, train every day, relays and everything from December to April. So you're born there. Then, I play the cup. I was the fast bowler. So I was the fast bowler for the helicopter team. And then the next year when school starts again, I play again and to cast a cup. So I was in sports. And because I was doing well in sports, I was also doing well in school. Because my mother had a rule, a ironclad rule. My father died. My first in high school, she said, listen to me. First 5. She said, I got 5 fingers on my hand. I expect you to come in the first 5 because you have 3 meals a day and you have light and water. So I don't want to hear anything about you not coming in the first 5. Right? So my mother had a, she ruled me. She ruled the house like Uncle Eddie Siaga. She don't give her no break. When that night come in the evening, 7 o'clock, she on the run bar, she expect me in the house. And she tells me, you know where you live. and how people think about that in this area of our town. So what the straight line. And then I used to go to Anglican church every Sunday. Even
So,
high
to,
school.
so you smoke a cigar every now and again?
No, 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 no,
You
no, no,
drink you
no. I
drink
don't.
any alcohol?
Yes, I have a drink. Yeah, I
What's
have a drink.
what's your drink of choice?
White rum. White rum.
And
White rum. Mountain.
where you chase
Mhm.
it with?
Orange juice and coke.
Okay, okay. See,
Yeah.
me and the manners, so my wife
And, and,
hides
and,
mine.
let me shock you now. I am the person that dramatically changed the government attitude toward marijuana, ganja. You hear Mark Golden taking all his credit? It's like I him bringing this.
Oh no! Wait, are you gonna say to me that Mark Golding takes credit for things that he didn't? No, don't say that. Not Mark
Yes,
Golding.
he's known for that. Listen, man. Hold on. My
Marky
father in
G.
medical marijuana business, Ross Ivy, yes, he put Ross on the board. He was the Minister of Justice when they passed the criminalization of ganja. Give him credit. But it was not his idea. His first idea started with me and Mr. Addison. It was me when I came from Africa, 1982. My first article that I wrote for the Western paper in Mobile, that be similar paper, was an article on ganja, song, sex, sensimilla, and sound.
What was your reason for freeing up the weed? Because
Because
I
I was
grew
in
up, I grew up all in the late 70s when me there Jamaica. If you were too dark, if your nose was too flared, if you smoke ganja, your mother and father says if they wanted to upset you, they would say you're going to turn what? Smoke ganja and turn
but
rasta.
listen now. One of my best closest childhood friend in life was Peter Touch. Peter Touch and I went to primary school together. Okay? When Peter Touch joined Bob Marley and the Wailers, I knew him then. Then, I want to reason why Jamaicans didn't support the GLP was because they harsh attitude towards ganja and the uprising in Bombay when the Rastas were killed and the first were killed. But beside that, the British colonial rule that a man smoke a spliff, he goes to the in Bob went to jail, Bob was saying, yes, my friend, my good friend, they free me again. Now, I went to Africa, Nigeria, University of Ife. And when I was there, the Evans, the 400 Google analyst in Mexico, he was working for the American government. In Nigeria, as a track coach. And I don't know what happened, but I'm bucking up somewhere. And when he was leaving to come home to the States, he came to my house with a van, and he have two big grip. So I said, "Lee, what are you doing here?" And Lee pick up a bag with ganja and pack the two bags with ganja to fly to the west coast of America, to California. So I said, "Lee," he said, "No, man, I have a diplomatic passport. They're not going to check me when I go back to California, to LA." And then when Bob Marley died, I was on campus at University of Ife. And I didn't know that so many students smoked ganja at University of Ife. They had a party at my house and they burned the ganja. Then when I came home, 82 now, 82, there was Sega was the prime minister. And there was the police was giving the young girl down the Negril a hard time because they were catching the sailors, catching tourists. And the ganja man, they locked them up too, take out the ganja. So I wrote an article. I said, this is wrong. Prostitutes is a way of life in the grill. Why the policeman, if he want little sex and the girl don't give him, the next time he see on the street, he lock her up and deprive her of income. So I wrote the article. It was a biting article. The man could be a newspaper. In the Mirror. In the Western Mirror. And Mr. Shaker called me. Said, Dr. Locke, I like the article. I need to see you. I said, why? He said, come to my office, Dr. Locke. It's a prime minister's order. So I know you. Trying to recruit to the government, but you won't come. But when I talk, he said, tell me the reason for the article. That's Mr. Shaker. Tourists, the white men come to Negroes for sex and ganja. So how you can have this law? And he was the one who announced to Jamaica in Parliament, say, bank managers, go up to Orange Hills and go up to the hills. Don't ask no question. Take the money from the ganja men them. But in the next 6 months, all ganja growers, your days are numbered. Plant aloe vera. And they laugh at Siaga, but he was right. Because the president of America then was giving him a hard time about the ganja, but because the people was switching from ganja into cocaine and blaming the ordinary grow a ganja. So anyway, I left and went to the States. When I came back on PJ now, I said, PJ, how you a black man? And you have police arrest the ordinary man who try to make a living. And he said, Duba, you know, you're right about it. And we spent some time discussing it. Every time I saw him, I said, Prime Minister. He said, don't come with Prime Minister, come with PJ. I said, no, it's Prime Minister. And give him his credit. After his first year or two in government, PJ make sure that no army or police or helicopter, no army helicopter spray the ganja fields in Negril, in Orange Hill, or anywhere in Jamaica. PJ had a personal principal position on that. When Bush became Prime Minister, he, in a sense, reminded me of my position towards ganja. And I shared my views with the Prime Minister then, the first woman Prime Minister of Jamaica, Bush so. She and I was extremely close. And so she carried on that same rule and principle. No helicopter go spray no ganja field. Right? Andrew is not conscious enough at that level. But him allowed Chuck, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of National Security, Harris Stamp, to work with the new law that sacramental herb, among Rasta can plant 2 acres for sacramental herb in Jamaica. But back to the question you asked me. The mere fact that I was an athlete and a good student give me this sense of pride and the sense of place to go forward in life. But like I said earlier on, what is so sad for me is to see over at Mannings, we don't have a track program. I could get at least 2 students every year if they were good and reach final champ to go abroad to my alma mater, Eastern Michigan, University of Michigan, and full scholarship. And you saw the big track meet and get Johnson at OT last week. People make $100,000, $50,000 for one race. It's track and field is a business. Professional track and field is big business. And most athletes who goes to champ. Once they reach semifinals and finals, they automatically get a trust scholarship to a 4-year or a 2-year college in America. So why is it that Mannings, headmaster, does not fire Mr. Hughes, the coach, who is not interested in building a good track team like Dr. Lackstein? The Jocasta Cup, Mannings School, I know Victor Lowe going to hit me for this. We have now gone to become a school that want to win the Jocasta Cup. Everybody, and Garrett Hamilton and those people, pushing to win the Jocasta Cup. I am obsessed with the idea that we must have a good track team. And what is so interesting, if you have a good track team, you will have a good Jocasta team, because most of the players on the track team going to have the speed and the stamina to make this Jocasta Cup. They don't see that. We don't have a track team in Manning. We send students to go to champ. We don't have a track team. And I believe that I may be wrong. And because maybe the administration and maybe the board of management members don't want nobody to be like a Duba Locke again. Or the Mannings. It has to be. What's the explanation for not helping getting a track coach in from the outside? We have 1,500 students and we don't get a point at champs. How we can spend 600 to 700,000 Jamaican dollars to send a bus and about 20 students to champs, because the sports master when they go to champs and the headmaster know he's not getting no points and still continue for the past 5 years, something is wrong.
That's funny. That's
Something
funny.
is wrong.
That's funny.
Um,
Hey, Dr. Locke, tell me something. Is there anything about you that you'd like people to know? Remember, I'm a realist in this world. I believe that I don't side with any political party. I don't purport to any of the religion them. I don't know Muslim, Christian. I don't believe in no father in the sky and all them thing there. I'm just that guy. I'm not a Labourite, a PMP, a Democrat, a Republican. I'm just a guy inquisitive asking questions. What I want to know from you is there anything about you that nobody doesn't know anything about or you'd like someone to know?
yes, I want my friends and schoolmates and Westmoreland and other people to know that out of winning that race at champs, if I had used my head wisely, when Mr. Siaga interviewed me to join his cabinet, I would have at least been the Deputy Prime Minister of Jamaica this day. Mr. Siaga interviewed me at Bustamante Centenary in Lucy at a restaurant club. Everybody was there. Shearer, Colonel Charles, Harrison, they were there. And Mr. Siaga took me down. He sent the mayor of Montego Bay, Chairman Scott. I was in the crowd to tell me, listen, I'm taking you to Mr. Siaga. Mr. Siaga offered me the world. Literally offered me a ghetto youth, an athlete. He said, for you in college, I've been trying to recruit you. I want you to come and join the regime.
What
He
was
said,
it that he saw? What was it that that Edward George Siaga saw in you, Dr. Locke, that you were the man for the job?
because when I came back from Africa, I was the president of the biggest club in Westmoreland, Reno Soccer Club. We went to the semifinals, and then I left Reno and formed my own club, Survival. We're a big club, and I was writing for the newspapers. I went for the Jamaica Herald and the Western Mirror, and being active in my community in the parish. Plus, I have a PhD from Michigan, and he was a Harvard educated man. Mr. Sega wanted me to be the black face of his regime because people saw his government as anti anti poor. He didn't want President Charles. He wanted Dr. Locke. And I never think about that. He told me, go back to America and write your contract and send it to me so I could pay you in American dollars. He said, and if you want to build a plaza downtown at your mother's place, I will set it up so you get the steel and instrument and the sand. No cost. But I didn't want to take that part of the bargain because Mr. Siaga is not an easy man. You couldn't cross him. But here was it, just from being that man as an athlete and winning champs and placing third in half mile, my last in high school, and doing well in college. Because my mother told me, you're going abroad, it's an opportunity, don't fail. And when I went to America, even grad school, because of my educational training that I had at Mannings, I was ready. The work was easy. I made it in history and political science. Miss Perrin was my teacher. I got a distinction in history, in GC, honorary GC. So when I went to school in America and I said history classes, it was easy. I just read the book and write and get in. Once you go to high school in Jamaica, most of you go to Mannings High School. I get a chance to go to American university, any university, you must graduate. Because they're not joke at Mannings. We have some of the highest academic standards in the world. When a man go through Mannings, even if he don't pass no subject, if he spend 5 years there, anytime he's in a crowd, he or she can hold his or her own. That's what Mannings does for you. So I had the opportunity. So when I see people, I learn a lot from my mistake because I have people around me, and the way they want to deal with me is like they have more money than me, or they enjoy life. I've seen it and I've done that. I lived 45 years in America, taught at University of Michigan, taught in Nigeria, traveled East Africa. Because of my legs and my brain, a combination, academics and athletics, put me where I'm at. And I had the opportunity. Mr. Siaga recruited me. Before he died, I saw him at a function in South Florida, and I went to him and I said, Mr. Siaga, I want to tell you, sir, that I made the biggest mistake in my life. I should have taken up on your offer. That was 15, 20 years before Andrew Holness even joined the party. I would have been the only PhD in the party. But I made that mistake. And every day I think about it. Because if I take that opportunity, I would have been filthy rich. I put it away. I would have been disgustingly rich. Because I hear people talk about Ahmad Golin, but in this city, in Richmond, you cannot do parliamentary activities, politics in Jamaica, unless you have something to keep the constitution happy. You can't do it on your salary. And both of us don't have all money. Mark have money because of the money that he got with Peter Bunting, through FinSac, $30 million US. It's in the papers up to last week. I bond poor.
Wait. Let's talk about that. FinSac. Are
Yes.
you saying some people were able to enrich themselves through FinSac?
Peter Bunting. It's in the
Explain,
papers last week.
explain to me how that worked.
Okay. When there was a government deal and Mark Golden, there Remember, they have a company, Golden, trader, Mark Golden and Peter Bunting and other guy. They had a company, a financial company, right? And government, Omar Davis, had a contract to give out to government work. And Mark Golden, Darren Bunting, Darren Bunting and Golden, the
That's
financial
correct.
entity,
Yep.
was the bigger person that closed the deal, and they got 30 million US dollars for that, for the job that they did for SAC through Omar Davis. Last week in the Observer and in the upper house, Chris Hensley, the guy in the upper house, JP, man, he mentioned it, that Mark Golden and Bunting, that's how they got rich.
So let me ask you this, because that
Think so.
sounds a little bit troubling. Because didn't a lot
Yeah,
of people
it's in the
lose?
paper.
But
It's
didn't a
in the
lot of people
paper.
lose their some people
People,
lost their lives from it.
people commit suicide. People commit suicide.
So what was this whole FinSac deal? I wasn't in Jamaica at
That
the time,
was
so I don't
the
know.
bankers,
A
the
Ponzi
bankers.
scheme?
Huh?
Was it a Ponzi scheme?
No. FinSac was when the people borrow money, business people borrow money, and they couldn't, and Omar Davis with his high interest rate, and the companies folded, went bankrupt. Well, it become the bank assets. The bank took over the people, their businesses, right? Then now, when the government intervened, the government had to buy all these bad loans from the banks. Okay, you follow?
Yeah, man.
So,
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. The bad
so
loans. So yeah,
the government bought the bank loans. Okay,
the bad loans, the
yes,
defaulted ones. Yes, sir. I'm with you, man.
and then the government brought in a company. I think from a year or two from your state, from Texas, to be in charge of selling off these bad loans. That is how the guy from NCB, the guy who was the last, who just resigned that day from NCB, he was the one who was hired to take care of this bad, sell off these bad loans. So Bunting, Darren Bunting and Golden, that was the financial institution, was in that business to close the deal. When the government sell off those loans, you had to pay Bunting because they held some of those loans. So they got 30 million US dollars for the job that they did for during that period called that name fixer.
I
And
have a
it said,
I have a question for you, Dr. Locke. So
go ahead.
if I had 30, let's say every man make 10 million US. I mean, people accuse me of bad mind. So let me say the man get 5 million. So wouldn't, if you were a minister, wouldn't your constituency be a rising star? Wouldn't you invest in your constituency if you had that kind of money flowing around?
Well, no, because you're not going to use your own personal money for your constituency. Because you can never take care of everybody
So
needs with your
so
money.
so so no, I'm not thinking about giveaway. I'm thinking about and Dr. Locke, I need you to move back and I think to your left a little bit because I'm seeing one.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Good. So I'm not saying give away money. I'm talking about make sure the infrastructure of your constituency is a model and a beacon, so that when people look and they say, "Look over there," so just same thing I try to tell you about your brethren PJ. You see Westmoreland, look at Westmoreland, the road, them crazy PGA place, this in come from Lennox, Big Woods, or in come from Darliston, or in come from Witton. And look at the roads, they're pristine. Oh, and don't tell me about the Savlamar Hospital. It's got the latest and greatest. He was there. He had the cabinet. He could call a man and say, this is number one project. Prioritize. We need this. This is
It
my
don't go that
parish.
way. It don't go that way. Look at Tivoli and Tiaga. Look at Tivoli. Listen to me. Let me say
Do
this
you remember?
again.
Do you remember what Backawal was until
Yes, 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 yes,
until?
yes, yes.
So there was a
Yes, yes,
mark
yes.
improvement.
Yeah, but listen now. Let me say this to you. Say this to you. Give PJ his due. When he was the Prime Minister of Jamaica, he was the hardest working member of Parliament. All the roads in his constituency plus water, he gave them. I'm a witness to that. You gotta give him, you gotta give him his, you give him his due. Now, Shara did extremely well with
Are we talking about Westmoreland?
huh?
Are we talking about Westmoreland? PJ built up and
I just came out of Darlistan last week. I went to Darlistan last week to check myself. I went up to Big Woods. I went up to where the German town. One little bad spot up on the road.
I
And
bet
PJ,
I bet you I
and
bet you the little bad spot is a little
PJ
labourite
farmer.
area.
Eh?
I bet you the little bad spot is a little labourite area. They just put the mall down in there. Coming on in time down there, you know.
Oh, well, listen, hold on. Bear in mind, talk about PJ, the people taught him a lesson. Just like what you said, he was not taking care of them when he was when he was the member of parliament before 1980 election. And they penalized him, they voted him out. So when he got back in 89, he passed a rule when he became prime minister. Every MP has to be in a constituency every Friday. He passed that law, a rule. To this day, every MP has to be in a constituency on the weekends. And when Peter was prime minister, when I left to go back in 1998, PJ cut the road from Newmarket, go all the way to Darliston into Montego Bay. Your constituency changed, man. Darliston changed. Darliston is a different place. And they have water now.
You know,
And tell
sometimes you sound like an orange shirt man, you know. And I thought you were a green shirt man, you know.
hold on. Siaga and Edward Siaga were two good prime ministers in terms of the constituencies. They're not Amerikaners. No. And I'm telling you, I'm voting for George right next election.
All
And
right, may I have one other question for you, Dr. Locke. I live in Texas, as you know, and I'm a little bit of a troublemaker. I like to look at myself like that. So me listen to a lady named Karen Cross.
yeah,
What is it about risers and all them thing there and the original?
Riders is
What is going on? Teach me.
Riders was Riders was the group with Peter Bounty and Mark Golan when they tried to take away when they tried to take the head of the party from Dr. Peter Phillips. The group was called the Risers. It was Mark Gold, it was Peter Bunting they were who competed against Dr. Peter Phillips. That's why they never won the last election. And Peter Phillips, although he was ill, he was the head of the party. But the writers, they Bunting opposed him. But he beat Bunting again. But then after he lost the election, PJ and the other head knows as well they couldn't win the election. They can't win again. 130,000 PNP people never vote in the last general election because they were mad at the structuralism in the party, the society, the fascism warfare, and the split in the party. That's why I'm afraid if those 130,000 voters come back now because of Mark, then they can't win the election. So the Risers is a group, is a faction led by Peter Bunting and managed by Mark Golan. After Peter Bunting lost again to Dr. Peter Phillips, and they still had a faction then, and Peter Phillips resigned as president of the party, then Mark Golding was run against Lisa Hanna and beat Lisa Hanna because they said Lisa Hanna was from the other side. So her husband, her ex-husband was to David Patton was from the other side. To see, I want him to run in Manchester, and she was right to him.
So how does Karen Cross come into this?
But so Karen, she now have a war with Dr. Denton Campbell, right? And she opposed to Mark Golding and Peter Bunting, but she's from the party. She's a member of the PNP. You follow?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Karen Cross. So what she highlighting is the faction. She showed up that Mark Golding belongs to the Risers. She blamed him and Peter Bunting from backing up the People Nationalist Party.
Right, I understand. Okay.
Okay, and she also accused Dayton of, molesting the young girls, and then came out to sue her.
I saw
Okay,
that. I saw that. I saw that.
so, so,
I saw
yeah.
that. Okay. So, Dr. Locke, we're up on 2 hours 15, and I think we could go even 5 hours. But anyway, I just
So
wanted
long,
to, yeah, we're there a long time, man. So what I
so
wanted to,
long.
no, serious thing. So what I wanted to say to you was, when you think of the future of Jamaica, what comes to mind? What you look at the tariffs. When I see Trump's tariffs, I think, hey, this is a good opportunity for the farm in Jamaica to get to where it needs to be, innovation to get to where it needs to be. I only see positives. Why is it that people look at me like I'm crazy? Because I can see the positives of America, wanting to be great again. And I'm thinking, how about Jamaica be great again? I mean, this is an opportunity. This was a time that Manley spoke about. This is the time that Manley, there was a record called the Message. Juke them with
Yes.
the Cuban school,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this is the
yeah, yeah,
time. And I'm wondering, this is the opportunity for us to be the best that we can be. Why do we need aid? How about we just, you know what I mean? When does it start for us? You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I'm watching the tariff business, and I'm saying to, to myself, there should be Andrew Holness or Mark Golding, if we become prime minister, should go to America and go to those car companies, Ford and Chrysler, and give us a listen, man, we got areas so you can come and build a auto plant down here, and so, and then Prince are part of the Quebec based initiative, because you know that the tariff
Wait a
was
wait, Dr. Locke. Why isn't that happening anyway? What would stop them from doing that 10 years ago? Why would Mexico's
because
been building cars? Why we
because
couldn't?
they studied in London and UWI, and you had to, that's how you live in America, and so you're talking the people who UWI is a waste of time. They don't go to university to UWI to get a degree and then put civil service job or go teach. Right? The doctors are different. So the people who go to UWI, even Trevor Man with them, they don't know, and plus two, they don't want to borrow anything either from America. They're still colonialized. They're imprisoned in a British colonial mentality. Right? No, we're so close to America. And we don't have even a car parts industry making like even windshield for the car, outdoors, right? We don't do that. And that's been terrible too. Because I should be up to practice when he was prime minister. And Anthony Hilton studied, give Anthony Hilton credit. He was Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade. But Anthony was into quite unloaded. But we need some energetic, with people like you and me, to take in the cabinet and say, listen, man, we need to marry America we be the wife to America and bringing the manufacturing base. We need a tourism and BPO. Is that the answer? We need heavy industrialized base coming from America. China come and build the roads, so we need now to be building cars. We're importing, look at them. Last year they bringing 225,000 cars into Jamaica. New cars into Jamaica. And we could build the same cars out there in different models, some other sizes. Two Ford, Chrysler, and GM. You know what is very interesting? Even with the truck there and the tariff, the Japanese were so smart. The car manufacturers, the Japanese manufacturers, you know, that's some of the car plants are in some of the deep south states, Arkansas, the NC, because they recognize that they need to have cheap labor. Well, although the auto industry salary is the same, they go and get incentive to build the car plants in those segregated part of the country. So we can do the same thing here. And we have higher educated people, workers, than Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi.
I
We
agree.
need to compete. We need to compete for those manufacturing jobs. BPO and tourist board business. No, we need to get over that.
So,
Okay,
Dr. Locke.
yes.
So, Dr. Locke, in ending this, I got one more question for you. How do you manage your mental health?
Okay, good. Since I was an athlete and I'm into the sports thing, I live well. I eat well. I sleep well. And when I was in Africa, I started to drink my herb tea, and I don't know if I should say it on this program, but my doctor, I'm into the business. I'm into the medical herb business, ganja business. Are you hearing me?
Yes, 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 yes. And I encourage
And
it too.
I smoke a little spliff a day.
Why do you call it a little spliff? Just say you smoke daily.
No. Okay. So for health reasons, and I'm into the medical cannabis business. That is where the money is now. I just saw Monday that here of England, King Charles, and I believe he's dying because Harry came into England last night. King Charles is using ganja for his cancer treatment. Can you
Okay.
believe that?
It's lovely to hear when you think of how much people in this system, black people, poor people, get mashed up, especially in Jamaica. Me say one
But the
man
prison,
losing life, I must say man to go be some lock up a man to go be one young boy
they,
if you
they,
having a
they're
spliff.
trying to case them in Sablamar. They're trying to case them in Sablamar.
One spliff, think about it. The boss is
Yes,
slave, them lock
I
up the
know
man.
King Charles, it was the British colonial government that passed the law to lock up people for one spliff, not even a spliff, just to have the ganja in his or her hand. In Bob Marley went to jail for 18 months. And I read that King Charles is smoking medical cannabis, medical cannabis for health. And it's one of the best things for treat cancer. It's ganja, medical marijuana. It was in the papers on Friday. And Harry, I think King Charles is dying.
We were
But
hearing
yeah,
about it. We were hearing about it from the Rastafarians from in the late 60s, early 70s. And we follow the bosses slave them and I take the pill them and see it there.
no, it work. No. It is so sad.
Right,
It's
right.
interesting. But how many men went to jail? Bob, you know? If the guy was saying, what's my number? Where name again? 2 centimeters.
Yes, 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 yes. Lots of them, man.
26,
Lots of them.
47. What's my number? All these people went to jail. And
Ju-
they know.
and there's
They were,
so many songs about it as well, teaching
yes,
us. So
yes,
you knew it was a systematic form of oppression, you know.
yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
It
man.
go for asthma. It go
Yeah.
for cancer. It go for cervical cancer. It go for throat cancer. Yeah, so so that's why I keep studying. And I read my newspapers. I get my paper online, New York Times, Miami Herald. Then I get my Gleaner. I'm an observer. I'm a star every day. And and I go downtown. I live uptown now. I go downtown by the ocean, by the beach, little place, and have my fish dinner.
Are you talking about by Savlamar Ocean, or you going to White House with the rich people in there?
Seven mom, yeah,
You
seven
mean
mom.
you live near the fort?
No, listen to me. I'm close by the food, but I live uptown at Farmington, but my family house is close by the food, like I tell downtown. And
Okay,
the restaurant is on the other side of the food. Block house,
nice.
block house, end up to Darling Street, the end of Darling Street. You go down to the end of Darling Street, right down there, so one restaurant down there. So. And
Hey,
yeah,
so Dr. Locke, this is a every Wednesday thing for me. You know, I don't care who listening, who watching. We're gonna go live and we'll talk because a lot of us,
yeah,
you know, we don't want to talk politics. We don't want to talk religion. Everybody want in a little cult and hide and this, that, and the other. But
yeah,
I want to bring it up front. You know.
yeah, bring it up. But I listen to you. My only concern with you is that you expect so much from members of parliament and prime ministers. Their hands are tied and they don't have a vision, nor the commitment. They don't
Well,
have
you know what's really nice is that I'm able to talk to someone like you, and you can help calibrate me. It's like
yeah,
I have a friend, Gabby Coot. He's a misguided liberal, and
yeah,
he thinks in the 118 days that Donald Trump is in power, his mother-in-law's insulin has tripled the price. You know what I mean? And that doesn't happen. But the point I'm making is, I need to talk to a man like you, and you are tell me say, I know that is not that PJ never want fix the hospital, or give us a brand new hospital and make Westmoreland the shining beacon in the West. There were other things that made that not happen.
listen, before you leave, let me give you an example. They are fixing up Conway William Hospital, right? The Andrew Willis government. And it was just mold, Jew and all kind of stuff they find there. And from $2 billion. That was the plan for $2 billion. It gone up now to $22 billion. Just to fix the hospital, to remove the mold and the mold Jew and to put in new equipment. But it's a lot of money. For car original, a hospital out here costs big money. The clinics out here cost big money. And then now you don't have the personnel for these hospitals. We got to get people from India and Cuban doctors. The Cuban doctors helping us out. We have 400 Cuban doctors and medical personnel in Jamaica. 400. And because you don't have enough space to educate so many medical students, they can't put the people that teaching medicine professionals. They don't have the money. Because
Okay.
you it's financed by the government. They have the money to teach to hire these people. And then the teachers want their professors. They want American salaries, $300, $200,000 plus house.
See there. Hey, Dr. Locke.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you were able to give me some of your time. You give me nearly 2.5 hours, so this is
Yeah, man.
brilliant. This is brilliant.
Anytime, man.
I really want you to be a regular. It's every Wednesday, and I'm gonna need someone to talk to. And trust
Anytime
me,
whenever you're talking, man.
I have questions. Any Wednesday around about these times, I'll definitely call
I
you.
can
But
call you, right? Yes. Yeah, I call in the day. Okay, good.
yeah,
And
man. But
listen, I want to talk about the whole thing about corruption issue is a double standard. How you can ask third world people to abide by the same rules which were written by the colonials, and they have a different state apparatus than us. After them enslave us and colonize us and get rich, build their societies to go industrialized societies. Then they're telling us, and the history of the society was the MPs and the government people teeth. The king and queens them had the castles out of this estimate of their people. And though you're telling us that you must be in parliament and don't get don't have no outside income, and you can use this the state apparatus even above board to get rich, to provide us decent standard of living for you.
Who
Corruption.
says that? Who says that?
That is the Integrity Commission rule out here. They have an Integrity Commission.
Yes.
Every government civil servant and members of parliament have to give in an annual report on their income. And that Matt Golden is used against Andrew Holness. Say, what? Indecent enrichment.
Illicit, yes. No,
Yes, yes.
I've been following it, but at the end of the day, Doctor Locke, if are you sure that's Mark Golding's way? Because at the end of the day, I'm sure if you got a microscope on him, looked at his Florida properties and all of these things, if you really got a microscope, there is so much you'd find. Because people don't go into politics because they're good people. This is not a Michael Manley era when you can come out of politics broke. Then people have come out of politics millionaires.
Michael don't come to politics for enough. Michael stretch your hand out to Kim and Wireless before he died. You know?
You see all you sound. You see all you sound like a real labor right now. All right, we get it. I get it. Hey, I was under the impression that the man died a pauper because he cared about his people. Michael Manley.
Michael Manley would make his wife told him that
Wow.
don't end up being poor. And he shared that story with me at Jamaica House when they raised the issue that he when telephone company to Jamaica was bought by Kim and Wireless.
Wait a Dr. Locke, just before you go, I've got a question in the comments. It's from Mr. Brian Williams. He comes from Lennox Big Woods. He says, Dr. Locke is correct about the improvements in infrastructure over the years, but I disagree on the road conditions in the rural areas. The roads are terrible. And I repeat, terrible in Darliston area. Which part Fear Bridging come from?
I was up there the other day. I agree. The side roads are terrible. But the side roads have been historically been like that.
But when you have the government for 18 and a half years and it's your garrison called Darliston and Westmoreland a fear place, what make you wouldn't fix it?
Hold on. The parish council is the parish council's responsibility for that.
Okay.
You control the parish council. The parish council.
I hope somebody will know better than me will comment because no me don't know. All I'm thinking is we'll make the government when I say to the parish council, hey, make sure this place is a beacon.
Every parish council get at least $1 million. Listen to me, the money is not enough to fix those side roads. Listen, man, when you go into the side road, you can't drive. You can walk and the rain. You cannot fix roads with mall and with mall. You have to have. We need concrete roads for the side roads. We need concrete roads. We need concrete roads through the whole Jamaica, but that's expensive.
You know what, Dr. Locke, the more I'm talking to you now is I believe that you're really upset that you didn't become a real laborite when you were blessed by the man, because you realize you can see no wagwan and you probably saw what you could have done and now you said to yourself. So what was it that made you not take up the I was going to call him the operative, the Edward Siaga offer? Why didn't you take it?
But let me tell you what happened to me. He sent me to go to America, right, to get to wrap a contract. And will you believe it? I'm addicted to America. The moment I went up there, I forget completely that I had a girl with Mr. Siaga. Completely forgot.
You see what
I
bright
went to
lights do.
the beach.
You see what bright lights do us black people. Bright lights.
No, 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 listen, hold on. Stop, hold on. And then, if I had joined the regime, I would be the person I am today. My hands would have been bloody.
Wait,
Just,
you mean to say
just,
you admit that it's dirt, this politics is dirty work? You admit it? I'm glad you
yes,
know.
yes, yes, yes. If you at that level, and I have to be careful to where I eat. I would have to be careful where I go to places and where I eat. I have to be careful. Don't be prize you, man. You own party, man. Huh? Listen to me. You know, before you go, you know what is very interesting from high school days. If I had used the lesson that I got from the reading William Shakespeare, like Julius, like when Mark Antony and Brutus, to Brutus, and if I studied, if I took my lessons from the English literature stage of my life, Mr. Jackson, when all those books from William Shakespeare, all those stories, and use that as my guide to protect myself, I'd have been able to go to God. But what happened was I went away for too long in the States and Africa, and I had no inner circle to work with. Like one thing I like about Darren Golden and Bunting is that there's a team. Sega had his team, PJ have Vince Lawrence, Portia have her team. You can go to Kingston at a high level and work among your colleagues unless you have your team. Even the secrets, certain things you're going to do to enrich yourself, but the next man have to be hanging that for you. You have to have trusted people to do that. Because you're going to Kingston, you're no longer in Westmoreland, where everybody knows you're going to a new environment, hostile environment. Everybody is, I know you're working as a team, as a party, as cabinet. Everybody wants to block your way because that person wants to go in front of you. It's a ruthless politics. It's not a game of sex. And even the first act of divergination is bloody. And I knew that. That's how I live my life. If I get into high level process of politics, I knew it was a bloody experience. It's not no enjoyable sexual experience. It's a
Okay.
doggy world, survival of the fittest. And I was that, and plus two, my training at Michigan didn't prepare me for the hustle and bustle of third world Jamaican Caribbean politics. And the fact that I didn't go to a school in Kingston where I could come back and join the regime and my immediate friends are dear, from Calabar, Georgia, JC. My friends from Mannings who were living in Kingston, they had a hard time with me as Dr. Locke. So I could call upon them to say, I'm going to join the government, come and be part of my team, because they don't want to do things against me rather than advance my career. That's the next thing we're going to talk about all the time.
All
People
right.
that I trusted, rather than they see me and boy, Duba, get a chance. Let's push it. They come my worst enemies, stabbing my back.
Dr. Locke,
Yes, sir.
thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, we don't get
Hey,
in touch.
I
I
mean, I
don't.
try to keep it positive. Hey,
Yeah,
say
so how
something.
about yourself?
I want you
How
to
about
say something nice. I want you to say something nice about the future and say something nice about Trump's tariffs.
well, the future looks good in Jamaica. From where I sit in Savannah, we need some more employment and some people who looking forward to improve the life of the underserved section of Jamaica. for Donald Trump. People not supposed to be afraid of Trump. He's not the worst president America has seen. He is trying a thing. The tariff, if it works, if America does go into the era of depression and it works, then America is going to be, as you say, be very rich again. Because he bringing in a lot of, I don't think that the manufacturers who already left going to bring back their companies back, the industrial companies back to America. But if they bring back those companies into America later on in life, 10 years from now, they're going to be major employment because he's thinking about not himself, but America. You're ripping us off by your tariff. So I'm doing the same thing that you're doing to me. Lower your tariff and my goods come in at the same level that you come to America, and we using Mayor Virgin as a string. But you cannot charge me 50%
I like that.
for my goods. I'm
Nice.
your friend. Two your friend. I'm here to business. I have whole hard for me. That's what Trump is saying.
Yep.
Look, the China issue is a different thing. He have a personal vendetta against China, but China have a bigger customer market than him. So he was shocked when China didn't bite on his bait. China said that we may do the same thing. He expected China to say, okay, come.
No. Trump didn't wind his neck in. Trump upped it on him.
Yes,
And remember, China have 1.4 billion people. When starvation come for them, we are not like Jamaica. Where Jamaica can get some chicken back and flour being sent over and everybody feed. China have a whole heap of people, and all them do is produce. And you know what America does? Consume. So when America stop consume and people like India step in and Vietnam step in, China will be in trouble. So I believe
No. India, those countries go to China get Trump. 2 bricks. No. Be careful how you go that route. No.
okay.
No.
I hear you about bricks, but guess what? As I'm say, no better fish, no better barrel. I'm
Okay.
just putting you on the other side. The government says 70 countries have come to deal, and those 70 countries we're gonna hold the tariff them pound us so we can deal with something and make sure and do something. But China, who is stealing America's intellectual property for years, and it is so hard to sell anything into China, I don't think that America is the one with the blade in their hand. I think China does because we buy Chinese goods.
Okay. We shall see. When we can have a discussion soon on that, okay?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Thank you
Thanks
for your
for
time,
inviting me.
sir.
Okay. Take care.
Enough
Thank
respect.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.